If you guys need any cards, packs, sleeves, anything of that nature, shop on TCG Player using my affiliate link in the description. Today is the day. Today we address the most significant pressing question that has been plaguing the Edison format community. Of course, I am referring to which Neo-Spacian deck is the best. I did a whole series with a bunch of different builds, and we're going to be deciding today which one is the strongest with an 8-man single elimination tournament between every single individual build except for I think one of them that I excluded that was really bad because it was a 9th build, and oh yeah, it was like the frog one. Barely even counts as a Neo-Spacian build. Yeah, the frog one got thrown out, fake deck, but these eight are the real deal, and they're going to be competing for the title of #1 Neo-Space champion. First, we should go over all the lists, right? We see all the decks in the bracket. I have all the deck lists here. First one is Insect Spacian. This is probably the jankest out of all of them, I'm not going to lie, but it might also be the most based. You're basically using Convert Contact with triple Flare Scarab to fuel your graveyard for the Doom Dozers and the Lair Wires and stuff, so very cool build here. You're playing a mill deck with the Convert Contacts. We're just trying to send as many insects as possible, get our big plays set up for later, so extremely based list here. Maybe not the strongest of all the Spacian lists, but it can do some cool stuff. Lair Wire is a good card, so maybe. We'll see. Next up, we have the plant list. So basically, this is kind of similar to the insect concept, but instead of fueling Lair Wire, you're fueling Mark of the Rose with Neo-Spacian Glowmoss, and then otherwise it's pretty much a standard Twilight plant build, and pretty much all the Spacians have stuff like Allure and Armageddonite and Foolish Burial. That, like, most of the decks are going to have these surrounding cards that are adjacent to the Spacian engine, go very well with it. But yeah, we're on triple tomato. We have one Twilight Rose Knight to get off the road that you already play anyway. So this deck's, it's maybe not the strongest, but Mark of the Rose can be crazy. So this deck, you can never really count it out simply because of like the 4 brain controls and stuff. So it has some potential. Then we have Cat Turbo. Not a lot to say about this. It's a pile of spells with like Cat and Spacians. I mean, we're just trying to deep draw for the Cat and do crazy combos with the field spells and the Gear Towns and maybe Garden Cat, and the triple Avarice to put everything back. I've shown off this deck before. We know what it's about. Basically, just full in Tunnel Vision on Cat combos. So that is that deck. Then we have the Quick Draw build. This might be one of my favorites of them. I think this one could conceivably do well. Dark Samorg isn't my favorite boss monster, but it's not terrible either in the current metagame. And yeah, the quick draw, dandy, like debris, Kaya stuff is of course can be good. Maxed out on Spacians, we got like 5 of them, and you generally don't ever play more than 5. So we're on 5 with 3 Convert Contacts. Just trying to resolve Convert Contact as much as possible, get these boss monsters into rotation on the field, and see if we can't win the game that way. So very special summon heavy, very like fast, I guess, version of the deck. With triple contact, just trying to like maximize the consistency of getting your grave set up for your big dudes. It's kind of like I think the Samorg is better in like this quick draw build because you have like the other wins, so you're not like having to play double Hummingbird, which feels so bad. So I guess that was sort of the main inspiration by this version of the list. There's like one with Debris Dragon, and then there's the other one that I play that has Junk Synchron. So instead of like Junk and Debris, I just like split it into 2 since I didn't think Junk and Debris was a very good build. Anyway, we got Dark Warrior, just like derailing into a whole nother discussion here. This deck is completely different. It's like an Immortal Bushi Solidarity deck. With a little bit of hero stuff going on. It's basically just a pile of warriors with Dad. If you drop Dad, you should just win. And then Maul you can get out of the graveyard with Miracle Fusion. So your Bushi and your Solidarity should be relatively safe in here. And then, of course, we're pretty much only playing Dolphins outside of the Maul because we need all warriors, of course, for all these cards to function. And yeah, the Spacian engine generally interacts pretty well with the Miracle Fusion hero stuff. I think there's like 3 different hero decks in this in the bracket, so it'd be pretty surprising actually if one of the Miracle Fusions decks didn't end up like winning it, at least to me, because I think It's definitely like one of the strongest plays out there between all of these decks, just like summoning Ab-Zero. Dolphin means you can always have a Water Engrave, and like the hero stuff goes well with Rhoda, goes well with even Foolish if you're on Mali. It's like okay, so yeah, and then like Dad. So I think the hero engine really lends itself very well, which is why a lot of these decks have it. And then, speaking of which, we have the Spacian Diva hero. This is the OG list. This is like the most polished, kind of tested version. If I had to guess on a favorite to win, I would say this one. It's definitely the one I've played the most. Definitely the one I have the most confidence in. But anything could happen. We've all seen this list. I've showcased it a ton of times. So I don't know how much we really need to go in depth talking about it. But we're on the 4 Spacians with the 2 Convert Contacts at this point. Triple Wing Blast to go with your Mali, and you technically play like 2 Stratoses because of Armageddon Knight as well. Dad Sork's in like every build. Miracle Fusion, we already talked about how all this hero stuff goes very well. So just like a very powerful, very strong mid-range OTK, fast-paced kind of deck that's going to combo and try to overwhelm the opponent. Frost and Flame is basically just watered down version of the last list. It's like instead of Dad and Sork, you're playing Frost and Flame Dragon with some other goofy stuff to try and enable it. You do play Return from the Different Dimension, which can give you some crazy like OTK plays and stuff. But that is basically the only upside. I think the other build is probably just better. And then finally we have the Junk Synchron build, which just maxes out on level 2s, playing 3 Porter, 3 Raikou, and then the Raikou can mill the Porter, which can get you even additional searches. We're also on triple Armageddon Knight just to send Porter. Yeah, the whole thing kind of revolves around the fact that we're just like maxed on Porter in this list. I don't like the 2 Porter lists. I kind of like to just commit to playing Porter and having it be like this very like high impact portion of your engine, or just have it be the one-off. I think the one-off's probably better, to be honest. You only really need to play one to turn your Rhoda and your Foolish into like extra Stratoses and extra Rhodas, I guess, respectively. Also, this build is the only one that's on Avarice. Like I mentioned, this is kind of the junk half of the Junk and Debris. I never really liked the Debris in that version of the build because I felt like you're only ever summoning these weird vanilla synchros like Ancient Fairy in attack mode and attacking with Ancient Fairy, or Iron Chain Dragon, God forbid. So I think this build's a lot better since Junk Synchron's just a generic tuner, can go into whatever you want. Yeah, I think that's all I gotta say about these lists. That's the 8th one, right? So we can just get into it now. First, replay. This one was between, I believe, the Plant and the Insect decks, which going into this, I think, is probably the weakest too, so it's kind of convenient they got matched up. I randomly seeded this, so it's just sort of a coincidence, but the Sangens are going to go into the Raikou, get popped, which is kind of what they wanted. Now we're going to summon an Armageddon Knight. Unfortunately, Porter has been drawn. Porter's going to be drawn a lot, but there's going to be a lot of weird things going on in these like pseudo-mirror matches. Hitting into a Trag, the Trag could steal the Tomato. I think this is exact game, actually, hilariously, with the Doom Dozer. Let me do the math. So it's like 600, then 14 is 2,000, and then 18, and then 28. So I think it turns out to be just exact game, meaning Insects just sort of randomly OTK sort of there. So game 1 goes to Insects. Game 2, going to open up with a Convert Contact. A lot of that going to be happening. Insect deck also opening up with a Convert Contact. Then going into Aztekapede Kai is going to out that Tomato, hit into the Triodia. Triodia is going to come down. But that Lair Wire is fully set up. We're actually going to have a 3rd Mark of the Rose drawn for turn, going to be used to steal the Kai's, and then going to mark the Trigodia and main 2 tribute both that and the marked Kai's to summon the Titania. Insect deck going to bring down yet another Doom Dozer, the scary boy that ended last game, and hit over the Trag, set another card, but Heavy Storm top deck for turn, and that sucks because the Lair Wire was also dead from the Doom Dozer coming down, so Titania's just going to crash. Sangan hits for 1,000. Insect deck goes Aztekapede Caius again. Oh, it's so devastating. And draw Armanite. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. That's not enough. It's not enough. It's short of damage. The Insect deck just wins. It just wins, which means it will be moving on from here. Insect deck wins. Plant deck down and out. Wow. That's kind of an upset, honestly. I think the Insect deck going into this was definitely my guess for like the weakest one that I thought was for sure going to scrub out in round 1, but it actually pulls it off. Amazing. Next replay. We have, which one was this? Is this the Dark Warrior one? No. This is Frost and Flame versus Spacian. Okay. It's going to be hard to tell them apart because they're very similar. So whichever one this is goes Diva into Gilman, gets torrentialed. It's a pretty solid torrential. Gonna search Grand Mole. There's gonna be a lot of searching Grand Mole. There's gonna be a lot of Grand Mole, period. Foolish gonna send the Mally, I guess, just so they don't draw it. I'm not sure. Gilman's gonna hit into a Trag. Trag gonna hit over the Gilman. We've got Grand Mole bouncing the Trag back. Just gonna pass, kind of like very desperately trying to resolve this Gores, but I am not falling for it. Here, they're going to go Phoenix Wing the set. Oh, because this can put back the Mally they drew and then make a level 8 play. I don't know why this is glitched out playing on the game, but I hope it doesn't break the replay. I'm going to hit into the known Trag, though. It was a little bit questionable. We got a Phoenix Wing on the back row, just going to beat over that Stardust Dragon. Set. Absolute Zero, going to trade with the Mirror and the Trigodia, just summons Grand Mole game 2. Going to Allure, draw into an Armageddon Knight, which, using the Stratos-like effective crossport, is going to get to a Grand Mole. So we've got dueling Grand Moles now. Prepare to see a lot of that. Stratos beating in, and then Arma going for a Plague play so that they can make the Goyos, steal the Stratos, searching another Stratos. Oh my god, that's so base. Anyway, the Mole actually getting Phoenix Wings, and now we have another Mole coming down, bouncing the Set Monster, but gonna play into the Gores here. That's kind of risky. Can main 2 use this Miracle Fusion, banishing the opponent's Stratos to summon an Absolute Zero in defense mode? But the Gores and the Gores and the token just trade with this entire field. Gonna summon Heat in main 2. That's met with a Torrential. A little bit of a questionable Torrential, as now Convert Contact going to follow up. Judgment on the summon of the Stratos because they have to, because that would be game. Going to go set. Mole, bounce the Set Monster. Actually hitting in with the Arma now. Pretty scary situation. Brain Control is dead off the top, though. And we go Ab-Zero and just Tribute Set? Surely we should have summoned this and attacked, right? It doesn't matter because it's Phoenix Wing and we're going to lose, but I don't know what I was thinking there. Huh. Questionable plays all around. Going into game number 2. We open what would be an insane hand, except for we top deck the Porter. Oh no. Oh no indeed. Gonna crash the Heroes, end phase, pitch the Mally, spin the back row, summoning, Alias attacking, set the Storm, opponent sets 2, we play the Storm, they chain the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Now we go Foolish, send Plague, pass, Convert Contact being resolved into 2 really good draws for the Frost and Flame deck, I think. We saw Heat. Yeah, this is the Frost and Flame deck. So, going to stack back and then use the Diva and the Mally here, it looks like, to make 2 Synchros. Stars hitting over, and then Catastor hitting in. We've got a Miracle Fusion plus a Grand Mole, though. That's going to answer the whole field. Actually, could have just crashed this Ab-Zero and left the Grand Mole there, or even summoned Ocean instead. A little bit strange. Okay, Convert Contact being used by now the Diva Hero Spacian deck. Going to Allure, just Diva into Diva, that's all we've got. MST the back row, set the Mirror. Mirror going to be used here, obviously, but Frost and Flame Dragon going to come down in main 2. Opting not to pitch the Grand Mole, it looks like. We have Future Fusion, again drawing it kind of late game where it's completely useless, unfortunately. And just going to use it to reveal Gaia, I think, because that was the only thing I could make. Must have run out of waters in deck, and the Dust Shoot, just another really bad draw. That's painful. We get Ab-Zero. Ab-Zero hit over this, but now Brain Control is just going to be lethal. So Frost and Flame Dragon takes it 2-0 over its superior version. Very big upset, in my opinion, there. Definitely did not expect to see that happen. I kind of thought the Diva Hero build might just run away with it, but it's actually out in round 1, which is pretty crazy. All right. Next replay we've got is the Cat build versus the Quick Draw build. Quick Draw going first with a T set. Not a very good opening hand. The Cat deck also has not a very good opening hand. I guess they have Monk play set up, but it's not great. Gonna go for Brain Kais because it's about the only option. That actually does out the Treacherous Trap Hole, which is pretty good. Gonna try to wall up with the Level Eater. Opponent just going for Gear Town plays, it looks like. Going to get into the Ancient Gear Engineer, but that's going to be met with a Torrential and the Grand Mole's normaled. Now this Grand Mole's going to be normaled. Monk into Cat, though, very good. Going to make Arcanite pop the Grand Mole. Then the Airbellum's going to get in there, rip a card. Hopefully not the Dad. It rips the Dad. Wow, that sucks. Convert Contact off the top, though, pretty good. The Dark Simorg's going to come down, and the Level Eater. Level Eater going to get in for 600. And then just drawing Trag, not very good. And now we have a Dolphin off the top, ripping the Dark Panther, I guess, to turn off a top deck Convert Contact. And the life points have glitched out. We draw, and then I think we realized in the moment that this was not a legal play because you can't set cards with Samorg on the field, which means there's no way to not make the Gear Town miss timing, which means the game is just over. So the opponent just admits defeat here in a second, and there we go. We go into a game number 2. It's been resolved. It's been fixed. Game 2, the cat deck going to go first. Of course, Porter's been drawn because everyone's drawing Porter. Quick draw deck opens very good, going to resolve the Convert Contact. Man, having that third contact felt really good in here. I'm not going to lie. Felt like there was a lot of turn 1 contacts going on for the quick draw deck. Very beneficial. I might even want to go back to 3 contacts in the builds that only have 4 Spacians anyway. That's a little bit debatable, but maybe. The Garden actually gets Judgmented because there's a Drill Warrior in rotation, and they don't want that to start screwing up their plays. Speaking of which, Drill Warrior comes back, going to pitch, probably going to make Stardust with the mirror set behind it here. It's pretty good. Going to beat over the Ancient Year. Engineer set the Mirror Force. Opponent just passing. They don't have a lot of plays. And now we're going to try to go for lethal here with the Junk Archer, but the Gores is going to put a stop to that. I think it just gets dropped immediately. So we just hit over the token, set the Bottomless, remove the Drill again. There's a Giant Shrune going to be used. Summoning out the Grand Mole, so beating over the Junk Archer, bouncing back to Stardust, but there's still this annoying Drill Warrior and some more, back row. And Drill is just going to make a Black Rose here out this whole field, make the Porter miss timing, set some more back row. So it's not looking too good for the cat build. Draws Convert Contact, which is definitely what you want to see. Dad comes down. Oh man, that's pretty crazy. Bottomless is going to out it, though. We've got a Lore of Darkness drawing more. The Avarice, I think, is dead. So the Mole and the Gadgetron going to out the tokens, but there's a Sork off the top. That is inconvenient. It's going to out the Gadgetron Dragon. The Drill just going to hit in direct. Opponent getting pretty low. Discarding the Dandy. Needs to do something. And I don't think that does it. The Road is dead. Yeah. Nothing they can do. Can't get the Avarice live. Can't stop themselves from dying. So looks like the quick draw deck is going to succeed in defeating Cat Turbo. That first outcome that I kind of expected. The other two were very surprising, though. Let's see what happens in the last one. We've got the Junk Synchron build versus Dark Warrior. This one could honestly go either way, I think, depending. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. We'll see. They're both, reasonably strong, but not, the highest tier, I would think, in terms of the Spacian decks. We've got a set Raikou pass. Stratos going to trade pretty well. Raikou doesn't even mill anything. Just going to go summon Armageddon Knight. Resolve Porter number 1. Gonna set 2. Now we're gonna summon our Armageddon Knight, get our Porter. Crash. Man, this is it mirror? This is the Neo Spacian mirror really good. Is it actually a very fun mirror? It seems very cool. So Dolphin going to rip the Raikou. There's a lot of interesting things that go back and forth. I don't know. I always like those kinds of mirrors. It's kind of like the. No, I don't want to compare it to the tier mirror. That's jumping the shark. Anyway, we've got a return being used by the Dark Warrior deck. Going to pop the set Call of the Haunted, which is chained to get a Cross Porter Search. But this is just lethal. This is just 0 for 8k damage with the second Miracle Fusion with the... Man, Return is a crazy card. Turn is a crazy card. We're going to start off with a Convert Contact. Go for the Armageddon Knight. Get the Search. Allure. Pretty good turn, honestly, for the Junk Synchron deck there. Answering with our own Convert Contact here. We hit over, we set the Dust Shoot, and we pass. End phase Typhoon, going to take out the Dust Shoot, very good. Opponent goes for Storm to try and hit over this Greffer. I think I made a misplay here. I should have Gardened that attack, so I could have used the Greffer again next turn. Because I could have summoned the Stratos, gotten the Mally, and then Greffer again, and we probably wouldn't have lost this game. But yeah, we're still going to be able to hit over this because we got the Solidarity again. And we have the Immortal Bushi. And we still have Necro Garden, so we're not feeling bad. Sork's going to come down, though, outing the Bushi. Very problematic. We can hit over the Sork, but we drew a second Mally. That's so bad. They're going to out the Solidarity. Avarice is live now for the opponent. Going to put back 5. Man, I feel like I've secretly discovered that the Neo Spacian mirror is the best mirror in the whole format. This is actually really fun to watch. Going to go for Junk Archer. Alright, I guess that's an option. And just leaving their own porter here. Here we steal the archer, get in for some damage, tribute, set it, but that's just like really not good. This just comes back. They go for another junk synchron, gonna make a 5 attack. It's just a dead Mali, we can't even use it. Yeah, this one's looking very over for the Dark Warrior deck. Not going to be able to recover from this one. Future Fusion doesn't do it. We're going to a deciding game number 3. One might even say an all-important game number 3. Pretty bad hand, but we got Dust Shoot Solemn, so, I mean, how bad could that really be? Going to put back the Pesky Boy, but the Pesky Boy is just going to come right back with the Armageddonite sending Cross Porter. Man, a lot of Armageddonite sending Cross Porter. So we go for the Ocean, just allow that to hit over. There's nothing good to bring back in the graveyard anyway. Actually going to Judgment the Contact to try and stop them because we've seen that their hand sucks. Hit over the Porter. The Mirror is going to be met with the Starlight Road, which is pretty bad for the opponent. They get a Panther. They do have a Mole, so they can out the Stardust. And then, okay, Contact off the top's pretty good. Sork's live. That outs the Stardust, and then there's nothing actually left to send for this Arma, so they have to send Tragodia. Couldn't they have Averist here? I guess it doesn't really matter if you wait a turn. Could maybe draw some defense. Allure going to be used. Set Raikou, still not Averising. I guess they just want to mill more. They hit the Call to Haunted, mill 3. The Avarice is being used now. I need to slow this down. It's getting out of hand. Let's see what they draw off that Pot of Avarice. Tragodia, Torrential, not the greatest. Going to bounce Grand Mole, set the Torrential Tribute. We've got a Convert Contact, draw 2. Going to go Rhoda into Stratos, pitch to Special Mali. Opponent has to Torrential at this point or they're dead. So we switch it up, decide to send the Plague Spreader. Bring it back, make a level 8. The level 8 gets met with Judgment, but then we have the Miracle Fusion follow-up, and that is going to be the end of the game. So a crazy push into all of this disruption there is going to allow the Dark Warrior deck to take it over the Junk Synchron deck. That was a pretty fire match, not gonna lie. Okay, so we've got here, is this the Frost and Flame one? No, this is Insect versus Quick Draw. No, this is Frost and Flame versus Quick Draw. Do I have that right? I think I have that right. So just gonna go set 5 because we've drawn a bunch of traps. And now we have Mole, so we can bounce one of the monsters, bouncing the Sangan, and then we Dust Shoot, so we can use the Convert Contact. Dust Shoot takes the Sangan because we don't want them getting to Dandelion with their current hand, since they have Quick Draw Debris. Then we're going to follow it up with a Convert Contact, sending the Flare Scarab because it's the worst one to draw. Also, you need it in terms of setting up the Frost and Flame Dragon later. Absolute Zero comes down. Going to trade 2 for 1. Not bad. We have another Miracle to keep ourselves alive. Opponent goes Rhoda. The Aqua Dolphin. Going to make an Iron Chain Dragon. Interesting that they did this instead of just summoning Mole. We Phoenix Wing that. We go for the Absolute Zero, and then out the Mole, but they have a Torrential. I decided to Judgment the Torrential because we're kind of all in on this Ab Zero. But the Call, man, bringing back the Mole again, just going to clean it up for free. They summon the Mole again. We Torrential it, hopefully finally getting rid of that Mole. But now they're free to go into Drill Warrior. And we draw to Plague. Drill Warrior comes back, but we can Phoenix Wing it. However, we're just down bad at this point, right? I mean, draw Return. If we had one more turn, that would be crazy. We could summon... Well, actually, it wouldn't even be that crazy. Our Banish Pile wasn't very good. But we don't have one more turn. We're just dead. We are just dead. So Quick Draw going to take game number 1. Game number 2, opening up a kind of awkward, slow-ish hand. We do have Gores. We have Phoenix Wing Mali. It's not that bad. Speaking of Phoenix Wing Mali, we're going to use it with the Diva to make a level 8 Synchro, hit over this Dandelion, but we can't get completely over it, which means the Caius is just going to answer our entire field, as Caius does. We draw Miracle off the top, though. Pretty insane. Just going to hit right over that Caius for free. Opponent draws a Mirror. That's going to trade 1 for 1 for the Ab-Zero. Now they draw into Mole. Just what we need, more Mole in this match. So we drop Trag. Trag can pitch the Gores to steal whatever Synchro they make, which is exactly what we're going to do, taking that Ancient Fairy Dragon, beating over both the tokens, setting Torrential Tribute. We're feeling pretty good. But then they just have the Mole, and Torrential has to be used on this Caius, or we're kind of screwed. We're going to use the Dust Shoot, put back the Sangan again, because if this hand gets to Quick Draw, it's pretty much over for us. We draw Heat, just kind of have to slam it into the ball. Nothing to really do. If we could get Heat to Grave, the Frost and Flame would be live. We've got a Convert Contact, but that gets Judgmented. And now Heat's just going to get bounced again, unfortunately for us. Here we draw Diva, go Diva into Diva, use the Mind Control, make level 5, go into Gishel Nodon. Then here I believe we make Black Rose Dragon, because if that goes to Grave, then our Frost and Flame is going to be live. We summon Heat, Heat hit over the Dandelion. Opponent just set. We have the Mole. The Mole bounce this is actually just going to be game because we're going to hit in direct with the Black Rose Dragon for lethal. So, Frost and Flame Dragon actually taking game number 2 there in a pretty interesting back and forth. This game 3, though, man, the classic 3-card combo opening of Quick Draw Dandy Debris Dragon, that's going to be tough to overcome, I think. Because this is just going to be Stardust and Drill Warrior in rotation. It's just a nightmare. How are we going to do it? Okay, well, that's one way. Oh, that's one way. Just when in doubt, pesky boy. I guess that's how this deck operates. So the Drill is going to come back, but the Drill is just going to get outed with the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, pitching the useless copy of the Miracle Fusion, and they're going to be forced to discard another Debris Dragon as well to fully resolve the effect. Now we're going to hit in with the pesky boy, judgmenting the Debris Dragon, which is going to go into a Dandy, go into Black Rose. So now kind of equalized here for the opponent. They have 4 Dandy tokens. We have a Malicious that doesn't do anything. We have a Return that also doesn't do anything. And they just go into Nitro Warrior and win the game. Pretty anticlimactic ending there. But yeah, Quick Draw deck going to take it in a narrow victory over Frost and Flame Dragon. So Quick Draw going to the finals. Wait, what? Oh my god, I made a mistake with the bracket. Yeah, Dark Warrior won the match versus Junk Synchron. I don't know why I had Junk Synchron moving on. So we've got Insect versus Dark Warrior. I don't know how I screwed that up, but yeah, both decks kind of a slow start here. The Mole is just doing mole stuff, but the Dolphin's actually going to rip the Tragodia straight out of the hand. Then we got, the Trooper top deck is so good, though. Oh my god, it's going to let them drop Doomdozer, let them, just rip anything they want with the Dolphin. So getting Dolphin Revenge, beating in, I think this is just, no wait, this is 100 short of lethal, but it turns off the brain control, and the hand is pretty dead. We can ram the Trooper into the Trooper. No, we can ram the Porter into the Trooper, what am I saying? And then draw into nothing, and then pass the turn, and lose the duel, because we're on 100 life points, our opponent has a full field. So here we're just going to Dust Shoot, put back the Raikou, keep him off those Aztecapedes, hit in, but another freaking Card Trooper top deck. Oh my god. We activate the Solidarity. We just hit in. I don't think we even do anything. Yeah, we could have pitched a Dad to get Plague, maybe sync with the Trooper, or we could have gone Mally, made Ab 0. The problem is it turns off the Solidarity, so I guess we're just opting not to do that. However, I think we do just die here. Yeah, were we fully dead? We maybe could have lived with Gardna, actually. I must have forgotten about Gardna. How much damage was this? It's like 1,000, which puts me at 49, and they have, what, 62 on the board? So we could have maybe lived? Yeah, we probably weren't going to win this game, but definitely a big oversight by me there. Yeah, Insect just takes it 2-0 then, right? I think that was a 2-0. Wow. The Insect deck must be just really underrated. I don't know. It's kind of like blowing out this whole tournament. It's gone to the finals. I thought it was the worst one. I don't know what's going on. Insect just got it happening somehow. Whatever. Let's see what goes on in the finals here. Quick Draw versus Insect. Who do we have taking it? Who do we have? I gotta believe at this point that the Insect deck can just do anything, right? Is that what we're thinking? Okay, Sangan, very nice draw into the set Raikou. Going to get a search into a Convert Contact, sending to get the Samorg live here, which is going to be a problem. And then a second Convert Contact. And now Dark Samorg with Bottomless behind it. That's pretty good. We go for the Goyo Guardian, I think, but that's just going to be met with a Bottomless Trap Hole. Nothing we can do there. We do have the Brain. Brain just to set 2. Forgot to attack for 27, Lamau. Yeah, we're just... This game's over, right? Like, they go Drill, Stardust, or something. I guess it might last a little longer. The Trooper was a good draw. Nah, this is so over. This is so over. We have mirrored out the Drill, but yeah. Okay, Doomdozer. They still have Debris Caius, though. That's just such an issue. Caius answers the whole field by himself, and then we're just like a mole in a dream at this point. Opponent actually Black Roses the mole. Wild. We do a lore. The Lair Wire is just dead, though. And it gets Typhoid, and then we get Caius, and yeah, we're down bad. The Solemn's not really going to do anything to help our predicament here, and we're just, yeah. The writing's been on a while for that one in that game for a while, so nothing we could do, And again, Quick Draw deck just opening with all these Convert Contacts. Man, really starting to make me think I should play 3. Both of the builds that ended up in like finals were on 3 Convert Contact, actually, right? Because the Insect one is also playing 3 Convert Contact. That's interesting. It's interesting what you learn from these sorts of things. I'm just going to go in for a bunch of damage, but the Gore's going to be dropped. I guess I feared that they would play around it. We're going to use the Dolphin to rip the Tragodia. We're going to use the Gores to hit over that, and then we just pass. And we can't set Lair Wire because we're under the Simorgh, but even if we could, our grave isn't set up. Unfortunately, the Level Leader gets bounced, which isn't really what we wanted. And then Torrential is going to blow us out, but we have a Dust Shoot, stop that Simorgh from coming down, so now it's just Grand Mole to worry about. But we're getting pretty low on life, and they have Judgment, so this isn't too great. This is just lethal. No, this is not lethal. This is short of lethal. I don't think they had a path to lethal. Yeah, we can't do anything. They just attack direct with Drill, and we're dead. So Quick Draw takes it 2-0, and it is the Grand Champion of the Neo-Spacian Gauntlet. So I guess this means that the Quick Draw deck is just the best one. So there you have it. The first place deck list of the Neo-Space Gauntlet. It is Quick Draw, Simorgh, Spacian, whatever. I always thought this deck was pretty strong. I'm kind of surprised to see it win. I thought one of the Miracle Fusion decks would probably get first place, but actually all 3 Miracle Fusion decks sort of scrubbed out. None of them ended up in finals. Granted, 2 of them did face each other in round 1, but still, definitely a surprising result. This was really fun, actually. I had a lot of fun watching these back. They were really cool games. I liked seeing a lot of the sort of interactions and the Grand Moles on both sides and the Armonite Send Porter on both sides and even the Level Eater on both sides. I think we got to see. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the video. I definitely had fun making it. Hope you guys did as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.